Hi, welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I'm just going to do a quick little painting. I have this canvas board that it has a coat of heavy gesso, very texturally slapped on there. I let that dry and then I coated it with quinacridone nickel azo gold. I believe that's the color I used on there. And I left it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, and it's been sitting around in my room for at least a year because I think I painted it the Nico Azo Gold last year for Acrylic April. So 2019, I believe. So needless to say, it's been hanging out for a while. So I decided to do some sailboats, and I just pulled out some more of that heavy gesso, which I've had it forever too, so it's getting really thick and heavy. And I just thought it would be fun to kind of create sort of abstract looking sailboats and just play with the heavy gesso and see where I end up. Alright, so I let that gesso dry overnight because I wasn't sure how long it would take to dry. If you're doing it, if it's cool to the touch, it's still wet. It was a little cool to the touch, I think, when I started, but it's got enough of a coating I figured I could keep painting. And I'm just taking some bright yellow for the center of the sunset, just to make that really bright. Anyways, that's the plan. Oh, and I decided my painting looks crooked, so I took out a ruler and used it to try and define that horizon line. So that's why that's what I'm doing here. And I think mostly it's because that gesso on the left-hand side is not straight. Fix that with the blue paint, I guess. now I'm going to add a little bit of red, thinning it out pretty good, because I don't want to be too overwhelming in the red. So I actually do this and I wipe it back a little bit with a paper towel. Only it dries so fast. Everything dries so fast here. Trying to get a streaky sky. Put a little of the color in the water to hopefully look like a reflection. I think I cover most of that up with the blue. And try to wipe some of this back a little bit. But I just keep going back and forth, adding color, wiping it back. Now it's time to add the blue, and you can see that the texture really shows up when I do this blue, and actually I'll wipe it back too, and you can see all the lines or the ridges from the texture of that heavy gesso, and I think it makes it look like water. What do you think? So I want to make kind of a shadowy color, so I'm mixing everything together to make sort of a brownish, grayish color. Well, it's more blue than anything. I don't have a lot of paint left on there in the yellow or red. I'm just going to use that to create some shadows. And you'll see it changes. There gets to be a little bit of white reflection. I must not have recorded that part, but I just added a little white underneath those boats so that the masts and the hulls of the boat are reflected in the water. And here I'm just trying to touch up the extra white globs so the masts of the boat look more normal. And I think I'm going to add some more color into the water since I covered up most of that sunset color. I just wanted to add some of that back. Alright, so I pulled out, this is actually a Faber-Castell white paint pen, and it calls it a Pitt artist pen, but it is a paint pen, a lot like the Posca. It came in one of my sets of brush pens that I got on clearance. And it looks different than everything else in there. I think that's because it's white and it has to be a paint pen to actually be opaque. So I used that to re-emphasize the masts and the white areas of the boats so they stand out a little bit more. And now I'm going with the gray. This one is more of a brush tip and blends like a typical Faber-Castell pen, just to create some more shading. And then I pull out a black one just to really make those stand out, I think was the idea. And then just put some shadow underneath them. And I think that's about it. I have some pictures at the end, a couple of close-ups, so you can see the real texture of the canvas. I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, share it with your friends, and if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.